Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another session of Hablemos, conversations around inclusion, leadership, and purpose. Today, I have the honor of hosting Dr. Ciara Bostick. She is joining us, and she is an author, she's a speaker, she's a professor. I just found out that a couple minutes ago. I knew that she's so multi talented. I didn't know that she was also a professor. So we have a professor in the house. Welcome, Ciara. How are you?
Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for having me. This is an honor. I feel
Oh,
honored.
the honor is all mine to have you here to share more about God's gift, to share more about everything that you're doing, the work, the wonderful work that you're doing, and also opportunities for the community to connect with you and enhance and everything, all the beauty that you're creating for our communities.
Thank
So
you so
truly
much.
an honor to have you here. And obviously, during Black History Month, we're going to be talking a little bit about that, but let's get you started with your own story. Share a little more about you. What do you do currently? What are your plans for the future? Tell us more about you.
Okay, well, let me just start by saying I am the most boring person in Broward County. Well, actually, let me tell you a little bit about my story. Born and raised in South Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, and we are extremely rare that you find someone who is a full South Floridian born and raised. So I've been here for 35 plus years. Wasn't always raised in the most fortunate neighborhoods. I attended I've lived in low income neighborhoods. I attended schools that were in inner city. So I had an inner city lifestyle. For some of the worst schools, as some may say, but I think those schools definitely shaped who I am today. Leaving from high school, I am a graduate of Dillard High School, the best high school in Broward County, of course. Graduating from there, I decided to attend Florida Atlantic University. I am a proud owl, where I do have a bachelor's degree. Went on to NOLA to become a shark with my master's, and then led over to NSU for my doctorate as well. And I want to say, like, my claim to fame is that I had a doctorate degree before I was 25 years old. So that lets you know that I am extremely boring. That's my disclosure. And I am the biggest nerd ever.
Hey, that's why you're here, because you truly are a hero for our community. I mean, you're doing great things just by saying, hey, by 25, I became a doctor. Not everybody can say that. Let me tell you that much.
It was something. It was a lot of sacrifice. But here's the thing, I'm so glad I did it young. And my thing was to do
Mm.
it young. So right now I could do what I'm doing. Which we're gonna get into. I probably bet we're gonna get into a little later. But I wouldn't take it back. I had the best upbringing. I am my only child.
Mm.
So, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, only child, she's spoiled." Yeah, spoiled, but a lot of attention, a lot of weight, a lot of pressure. Like you got to be good. Your parents' only child. You got to be
How
good.
do you deal with that? Because it's for all other teenagers, for the teenagers out there, not other teenagers, but for the teenagers out there who are looking at you, and you work with a lot of them.
Yeah, yeah.
What is your recommendation to deal with that type of pressure it comes from families, but sometimes it's your own environment, your friends.
I would think that my pressures are a little different. My pressure is a born in the 80s, raised in the 90s type of pressure, where Microsoft was just coming out, not where there was social media. We still had
Right.
like AOL dial up. So I would first say this, it all starts in the home. If you have
Mm.
parents that's going to push you, it's in the home. But we didn't have outside factors. We actually read books, and these people that we talked about in books or we saw on television who necessarily didn't look like us, which we'll probably talk about later. It was kind of like, oh my God. So all I knew was like Oprah growing up. I want to be whoever
Right.
Oprah is. That's all I knew. Oprah or Tyra Banks, but that's all I knew. That's all I saw. I didn't have many things, or these glamorous places on social media to look. So it was kind of like education is the thing. My parents are not college educated. So I'm what they call first gen. That
Hmm.
wasn't even popular. Now it's like a thing. FSU has like a scholarship for first gens. I'm like, can you run that back about 15 years? So I can't
Right. Right.
there was none of that. Um, you have to be strong. And again, too, also, we didn't have so many mental forces, like mental health right now is so big. We didn't have that
Mm.
growing up. It wasn't, I don't
It
want to
was
say
taboo.
it was very taboo. It wasn't a stigma. It was just like taboo. You have a mental illness. And it was just like, no, we are striving to make our parents proud. And it's so funny, Carolina. This is a fact, another fact that you don't know about me. All of my cousins on my maternal side, um, half all of the boys are athletes, and all of the women are intellectuals, professional athletes, $1 million athletes, and the women are intellectuals. That's my bloodline. All of my male cousins.
So let me ask you though, are you good with sports? Do you have a favorite sports?
Heck no. And you know what? Here's the thing, the funny part. I wasn't allowed to play sports growing up. My
No,
parents,
why is that?
books, 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 books.
So all you did growing up was, hey, let's read, let's learn
Yeah.
what the
And
grades are.
it was because, again, my parents they weren't high school graduates. My dad wasn't, and my mom, they didn't go to college. So it was them like, you are going to be successful. It was, and I was raised in a Christian household, so it was go to church, read a
Oh,
book, go to church and do 1,000-piece puzzles. Go to church and do crossword. It was always, and I think that drive, which I'm so grateful for now. Looking back, it was like, really, that's all I did growing up, but it shaped me. I'm actually a creative thinker because I had to do puzzles and crossword puzzles. These kids don't know what
mm.
that is. I actually have critical thinking skills, and um, I can think outside the box. But that was me growing up. I mean, my female cousins, they were athletic. I am so not the athletic girl. I'm kind of like the young lady with have a dog in my purse with shades, drinking like.
You just watch the sports
There
on
you go.
TV.
There you go.
That's the
That's me.
uh, thank you so much for sharing it. It's the beauty of how our parents shape us, right?
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
all starts. And to your point, it does start at home.
Yeah.
Showing an interest, it also it's helpful, right? It's helpful
Hmm.
growing up knowing that somebody's out there watching
Yeah.
what we do. Now, tell me a little more about your purpose, your why, for the
Okay.
work that you're currently doing. And let's take it back a little bit. You wear many hats. So before you answer your why and your purpose, just remind us, what are you currently doing? What is God's gift? Just so people know, that's your passion as well there.
Okay, so God's Gift is my nonprofit in Broward County. Not only in Broward County, it's in Africa too. But God's Gift is my nonprofit, and it is a nonprofit for girls of color, ages 7 through 17. It was established in 2009. No, 2009. Oh my gosh. It was established in 2009. And there's a story with that and how that came to be. But with that, we focus on faith, leadership, confidence, and self worth. I think those are extremely vital when you're talking about girls of color. If you want to have the best version of yourself as a young lady of color, you got to have faith in everything, your leadership skills, your self esteem, and your self worth. And I'm not just saying that just to say that. Literally, my dissertation proved that. My dissertation was about adolescent African American girls and how their leadership affects their self esteem. So, my program is not just something, a cute social club that many may be, or I just feel like working with girls because I want to. No, my program is actually research based, spiritual based, faith based, and it's solidified. So everything that I do, it makes sense. I don't do it just for fun. I don't do it just because there's a need or it's a trend. I do it because it makes sense. And I think that's what has allowed the organization to last so long, that we kept faith at the top.
Mm.
I could be doing a lot of things. I could be having tea parties for little girls, which I do. We have little sisters. We do. But then there is still something there about faith. And everything that I do is leadership based. And it's so funny because a lot of people are like, Ciara, you're just making more little Ciaras. And I'm like, well, you need another Ciara. Until I have a daughter, you're going to have.
There's no problem with that. That's the way that it should be. Building leaders, building heroes, building people that we can look up to, building mentors, building sponsors. That's what you're
Mhm.
doing, basically.
Yep.
And
So outside of that, which is a 24-hour, and so as the owner, not only am I creating the programs, not only am I doing the staffing, I'm also writing the grants. I'm also creating the programs.
mm,
I'm also doing the books. And, it's a lot. I'm also doing the branding, the rebranding, social media. Well, now I have the girls, running the social media. again, I am a millennial. I don't know TikTok. I don't know Snapchat. So they do. I let them do what they know how to do best. So I kind of pass that on. But it's like, I have my team that helps my volunteers and parents. I love my parent support. So that's 24/7. When I'm getting calls, Dr. Ciara, can I put you as a reference? Dr. Ciara, I'm not feeling good. I got cramps. But it's like never ending on my cell phone while I'm also working for the county. That's a 9 to 5.
That 9 to 5 that some of us need. Yeah.
Yes, lean on the most. So I am definitely I'm working with the county, the sheriff's office, doing community outreach, which I so love, which falls in line with who I am, falls in line with my values. Um, Outside of that, I'm sitting on a million boards. Outside of that, I have a consulting firm.
Woo!
Oh gosh, outside of that, I work at the church, my parents' church, my parents' ministry. Outside of that, I'm getting asked to speak and getting pulled on after school programs or develop after school programs. And this is me every day. So if you know a handsome young man that's single, that's looking for a wife, tell him to call me.
I don't know if after that, everything that you described that you're doing, people are gonna be like, yeah, where do I fit in all? No, but the work that you're doing is powerful,
Thank
and
you so much.
and obviously you're touching so many lives, and this is why I wanted to have this conversation with you, not only to highlight the work that you do through God's gift, but also you as a leader in our community, particularly in so many areas, but driven by community work, community engagement, really understanding the needs of those different, not only the teenage girls, their parents, their families, their friends. So you touch on so many areas, and you yourself, like I mentioned, you are one of our unsung heroes that we're celebrating during Black History Month, or maybe you are. I mean, you are very recognized, so I shouldn't assume that. But to you,
yes,
other than your parents, which I assume they are part of the line of heroes in your life, right? Who are those people that you look up to growing up, and you continue to look up to?
Yeah, continue to look up to. And I would say this, even though she has passed away, it'd be my grandmother on my maternal side, the one who has all the famous grandkids. It'd definitely be my grandmother. She played a vital role in who I am today. And actually, the community part of me, they say that that's who I get it from. I am the only one of all of my cousins who has this big, genuine community heart. I definitely get that from my grandmother. I miss her every day. She passed the year before I graduated high school. So all of this she's never seen.
I'm sure she has. She's watching.
In heaven, I know,
What is there something in particular that you remember, a story or an episode that you were like, oh, grandma, how can you do this? Or maybe, oh, she is the coolest person I know, or something that really touches you.
You know what? It's so a part of my organization, like I said, we are faith-based, and everything that we do with the girls, there's always a scripture aligned. We could be planting a flower, and I'll find a scripture to go along with it because I want them to have the faith base. And I know like my Bible in and out. So we're just starting to have like Bible studies with the girls. And I am just like, I'm like Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus. And they're like, Miss Ciara, you really know your Bible? And I'm like, that's my grandmother. She used to do Bible drills with me growing up.
Oh my gosh.
I had my parents were younger when they had me. So my grandmother would watch me in the daytime. And her and my other little cousin will do Bible drills. We have to know the Bible, the stories in the Bible, the first person to find this, the first person. So I am just like ecstatic. And it's like, I kind of expect them to be like that. And they're like, we don't even know, in the beginning, God created the what? We don't know. And I'm just like, sorry. But it is definitely that. It is. And it's the heart. It's the compassion. So one thing that people don't know about me, Carolina, and this is something people really shouldn't share about themselves. I am a big giver, and not even just to my girls. During Christmas time, because I don't have children, during Christmas time, I would literally Google group homes, and I would just send $1,000 donation, $200 donation throughout the year. We get stuff. People give good stuff to my girls, and in my head, I'm like, my girls don't need this. I'll send it out. One of the biggest donations we got bras, female bras from Dillard's. They were giving away all these fancy bras. I thank you for that. Well, first of all, my girls are not that developed yet, but I gave those to like a women's shelter. No name
Mm,
attached. I don't want a tax fund. I don't want, listen, I'm just trying to bless you, you know. And I started, we had a girls' book club, a teenage book club for the girls. And some company donated so many books. I gave that to kids who don't have access. Our girls have access to books. Like, I don't.
mm,
I'm a big giver, and I believe if the more you give, you receive. But I don't give to receive. I give because that's human nature to me. Just like saying please and thank you,
mm.
giving to me is human nature. So
Wow. And so powerful to know that your grandma left or helped create that beautiful giver that you are, and that person who looks up, who does a lot through service,
mhm,
and living with empathy, living with compassion, and showing love.
yeah,
Um, so I love that. I thank you for sharing that, because I love the fact that it's a grandma that molded you. I also look up to my grandma. She's no
mhm,
longer with me, but there's a million stories of her, more about, being hit with some type of shoe or something, because I didn't behave properly. But
yeah,
all of those
oh yeah,
stories really really helped me become the person that I am. So I'm sure that it molded you, and there's a lot of Ciara in, being the person that you are, thanks to her.
oh yeah.
What do you think it's going to be your legacy?
Oh gosh, great question. I think all this stuff fades. I mean, you know me, you follow me on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Every other day I'm getting an award or some type. To me, that means nothing to me. Like I can't take it with me in the afterlife. You know? I mean, it's great. I have a wall full of things. Um, yeah, that I don't want that to be my legacy. An award. I don't want that to be my legacy. Um, I think my biggest legacy would to be if I when not if when I have children, they continue the work, whether they
Mm-hmm.
don't want to work with girls, but it could be some type of form of a service, some type of nonprofit, and whatever, maybe a foundation, but they continue the work. I want that to be the legacy.
Oh,
And
that's
then
a
I want like
beautiful
a street
answer.
named after me, but that's neither.
You know, details,
Just for
details.
just for throwing it out there. Like,
That's a pretty special award, getting a street name after
named
you.
after me,
So
right?
I'll bet on that. I'll bet that will happen. So, and tell me more about, since we're talking about Black History Month,
Yeah.
I want to highlight, um, you know, those people who are doing great things, not only locally, globally, but are touching your hearts. Because the whole idea is to educate all the communities, everyone watching, as to, okay, who are the people that are making the difference. So you, for example, are making a difference. Now, are there other people in the community that you
Oh
look
yeah.
up to that are making the difference?
For sure. And one name sticks out. I was just on a call with her earlier today. Her name is Miss Ashley Eubanks Johnson. She is beyond amazing. This young lady is, her and I are a year apart. She graduated high school earlier than me. We graduated high school together. Whoa. So a lot of people aren't familiar with period poverty and what that is. I had no idea it was even a thing until Ashley brought it into the forefront. Her story is super amazing. If I recall, she was driving and she saw a lady panhandling and she messed up her pants, and the lady had nothing to, cover up herself because she was menstrual cycle, she's on a menstrual cycle. So Ashley began this initiative called Help Her Period, and she has taken that out the water, and locally, statewide, nationally, actually has made a name for herself just for bringing light to period poverty. There's a bill, Learning with Dignity, that Ashley wrote. um, People are now responding 2 years later. It takes a while, but 2 years later she is on the ground doing the work, hosting, educating, trying to get the things in the bathrooms in the girls' stalls so girls can get period, because they don't have those in schools anymore. So
Right.
those,
The pads and
yeah, they don't have
the
that anymore. So she's trying her best to get funding from that on the ground level. She is sending the email. She is doing the calls. She is beyond amazing, like
wow.
beyond amazing.
It's incredible when you're passionate about something, how you become so driven, but also how many people connect to your passion and they're willing to support you, because you are supporting her in a way, because
Yeah.
bringing you're giving her the recognition she deserves for the work that she does, just like what we're trying to do here for you. um, Now you are also thinking of bringing a couple of the girls, the ones that you're coaching, into Tallahassee. So tell us more about that and ways to support that
Yeah.
mission.
So it is a, for those who don't know, it is a big thing happening right now with period poverty. Even our governor just signed something about checking girls' menstrual cycles while they're playing sports. And it's kind of like, wait, what? Um, so period poverty is making moves. Like I said, there is a bill, Learning with Dignity, and I had the great privilege of coaching three young, beautiful girls of color. They presented in front of the Broward delegation. They were the only kids. They were the only youth. They got a standing ovation. They coming from a youth's perspective, especially a girl of color, her perspective of not having menstrual pads or dealing with that, or a young girl who was homeless and she had to speak on behalf of not having menstrual pads. So we are taking the work that we're doing here in Broward County. We are definitely trying to take that to Tallahassee. We are trying to advocate, and we need your help, of course. But these young ladies are ready to advocate, hold signs. And funny thing about them too, Carolina, there is a coalition called the Coalition Against Period Poverty, which started in West Palm Beach. I was approached about it and say, hey, do you have any girls that, well, actually, I was just approached like, hey, do you have any girls? I'm like, of course I have girls. And then when we went on the call, there were no girls of color. So that became an issue
Mm,
for me. So I asked my girls, because I teach them leadership, any of you all interested in this? And if so, I would love for you guys to join. They started the Broward chapter of the Coalition Against Period Poverty. And these young
wow.
ladies have taken that and they are on a roll everywhere that they go. So now our next step is Tallahassee during spring break to get them up there in front of legislation and get them meeting with these people to get the bill signed.
And we need to raise $2,500 for this
Yes, we
initiative.
will.
So
Let's just double it and make it 5,000.
yes, so we need more, not only attention to what's happening, but
Yes,
also support, right? We want to bring real girls who understand what's happening, what the needs are, to talk about these issues front and center in front of these legislators
and
who
the thing
are
is,
willing to listen, right?
it's not just that issue, like the period poverty. So having the amount of pads, it's a thing, but also
Hmm.
the education behind it. You're talking about young
That is
parents
true.
who are having daughters, or single fathers who have daughters, or grandparents who have daughters, their child's child, and they don't know. Girls don't know toxic shock syndrome. Boys need to learn what that is as well. No
Hmm.
one's teaching them. I do a lot of things with the elementary school. I have a little group at an elementary school in Fort Lauderdale, and they're called Ladies in Training. And I teach them, like I use my forearm to show them how to put on a pad, like what wings are, what panty liners are. So it's still the education behind it. So yes, I have a nonprofit. Yes, I'm all over the place speaking, but then these are things that people in your organization or anyone who's
Hmm.
watching your organization can do. It's simple things. Adopt a school. My thing would be just to adopt a school and say, hey, our monthly philanthropy is not putting a garden down, which is great, not replanting, which is great, but literally donating feminine products and undergarments for boys, undershirts, that's needed. They have a huge homeless population in Broward County. These kids go without food, so don't you think they go without other necessities as well?
It is so important to
Mm-hmm.
highlight the needs. Sometimes it's not that we don't want to see, but sometimes we're not made aware of this,
Mm-hmm.
the things that are needed in the community. And I know I've worked with other group of ladies who are also raising awareness in Miami-Dade, but the work that you're doing specifically to bring awareness even to Tallahassee with through these girls, and also, even the boys, you just said it, there's a lot of education that we need to share, and to invest in. There's a lot of grandparents taking care of little of girls, and they're
Yeah,
not talking about this. And funny enough, this happens quite a bit in underrepresented communities, what we call underrepresented,
yep,
underserved,
for sure, for
Black
sure.
and brown communities. There's These are just topics that you didn't grow up talking about.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of misconceptions. There's a lot of empty space here that we need to fill with knowledge, with education. So I commend you for the work that you do.
Thank you.
And this is an invitation for people listening and tuning in to support your organization. So how do they support
You
this
definitely
program?
can visit us online at godsgift.org, God's with an S, godsgift.org. You can follow us online. We're on Facebook. We are on Instagram. You can shoot me over an email. I think the easiest way to support anything that we're doing is just to have an empty box outside of your organization and just collect hygiene items. That always, because we are attached to 4 girl group homes through Child
Mhm.
and these group homes, we can make bags or hygiene bags. These girls go through these items quickly. And now you're talking about
Mhm.
human trafficking girls, which is a totally different subject.
Oh yeah.
So we need them. I give stuff to the girls in the jails, girls all around. So just even having that box outside your office.
And just collecting products to
Yeah,
support, that's one way. There's also financial support if they want to
of
reach
course.
out to you via LinkedIn or Instagram or your website.
Yeah,
There's plenty of opportunities there, and we'll make sure to include all of those ways in the when we're showcasing the conversation and when we're going live, so they know how to do it. Tell us a little more about the mission behind this, and more than the mission, how many girls have you impacted so far
oh
with
wow.
the work that you're currently doing?
I've been doing this since '09. It I can't, if I say 100, I'll be lying. 100 is one event that I hold. Oh, so many. I can't. It's in the thousands. I definitely can tell you that. And let me
is
tell you,
there is there a story out there from one of the, or many of, I know there's many,
there's
but
many success stories. Um, there's several. So when I first started, I didn't have 100 girls. I started like with maybe 6 girls. One of them started. She is now a celebrity chef. Shout out to her. One is a lawyer, and one is currently an accountant. There's two that are there are accountants, and one that actually came back to volunteer. So she sits. She's a part of the board. She comes around every now and then, but she comes and she is a part of the board. So I do have her on my advisory council. But a lot of the girls that go through my program, am I in contact with them? Every last one of them, whether they came to one of my events, whether they're still coming to my events, whether they're still local, definitely in contact with them. And if not them, their mothers or their caregivers or their guardians. Um, the work is a lot. It's a lot. I see these girls, and I want to say a success story. And I don't know if this is a success story, but she's still in the program. And she doesn't get out for another 2 years because she's only 16. She has been such a success. I think when I talked to her parents, she was already open, but she has opened up more. So I started talking to you that I'm in leadership is my thing. She came to us with a 5 point something GPA, and now it's a 6 point something GPA. She is one of the main ones who I have speaking. Her dad, her family is super supportive. She's everywhere. She has taken the lead on so many. I've seen this young lady open up. When at first she didn't want to, she was just like, "I'm good, I'm okay." Now I was like, "I'll do it. I'll speak. I'll go. You need me to go?" She has taken the reign, and I love this young lady so much. And that's who everyone says is a little Ciara. she is attached to me, and she's like, "Okay, I'll do it. Let's go. Okay, I'll do it." She'll put together because the girls want to do a sock drive. I'll spearhead it. I'll do this. She'll do that. So to see that even the change within already,
Hmm.
it's kind of like whoa. I had another mom come to me this year. One of the new girls who joined this year, her mom was like, "My daughter never thought about being on a council. She sits on the City of West Park Youth Community Council. Now she's going to be in a cotillion ball." She was like, she hated dresses. Now she wants to be, So when I hear things like that, I'm just like, oh gosh.
The beauty of the work that you're currently doing and that you continue to do, where do you want to go, where in an ideal world,
Yeah.
where do you want, what's your measure, what do you call success?
Ooh, it's definitely not what people think it is for me. A lot of people are like, "Oh my God, you're so successful." And in my head, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not." He's like this because that's not my definition, of what I think success is. I would say that I quote unquote made it, when I have a house for them. When I have like this one building, and it's just where I can house programs in the building. In the back, girls can get clothes for interviews. There's counseling upstairs. There's beds just in case you were a human trafficking victim. There's just an outlet. I believe that I use my organization as something called a safe haven. So we get girls out of the jail system, out of the court system, who are referred to my program, which there's no problem. No one ever knows but me and my staff because there's paperwork involved. But I like that. It's a safe haven for girls. I don't care if LGBT, black, white, Puerto Rican. I don't care. It's just a safe haven because girls have that issue. But instead of the organization being a safe haven, I would love to have a building as a safe haven. Like I gotta go to, I'm just making up a name. I have to go to her house. Like I feel safe there. After school, I don't want to go to the YMCA. I want to go, to ABC. That is my dream. Something that's solidified in that'll be my legacy, Carolina. Something that's solidified on Dr. Ciara Bostick Street. Something that's something that's solidified, and it is just there to stay. That's it's there. It's employment opportunities, resume buildings, a computer lab, all of that in one building. That'll be my dream.
Wow, that's a beautiful dream. And I think, I mean, you started it in 2009. It's going to progress. Why not? What's stopping you? Nothing.
Nothing stopping me but property taxes in Fort Lauderdale. Everything's going up. But you know what it is? I just want to be strategic with it. I want the location to be strategic. I don't want to just, it's an empty building, let's do something here. No, I want it to be just how um, September 28, 2009, when God gave me a vision on the logo and the name of the organization. I want it to be that specific. Like, this is the building, this is what we're going to do. Talk to that person. I want it to be that specific when I get the vision for it.
And so, talking about vision, do you believe in vision boards and visualizing and creating it in your mind?
Oh yeah, the girls are big on it too. That's one of their favorite projects each year. I believe if you can think it, it can happen. I have a vision board now that I'm actually looking at and and I'm just like, it didn't come this year, next year. It's still there. The vision does not fade, just the timing does.
Right.
So I'm just like, no, I am big on visioning, because if you have no vision, where are you going? People prosper. They fall off. If you don't know where you're going, at least pretend that there's somewhere to go. So I am a strong believer in vision.
And now you're also doing some consulting work. You're now diving deep into what you can offer to organizations, to schools, creating programs. Tell us more about that, because if there's any organizations out there looking for, Dr. Ciara, and to put programs together, not only for their new team members, but teens, interns.
So I've been doing program development for years. It literally just comes to me. I'm like, it just comes. Give me what your issue is. I can solve that problem, via program. So I decided last year to fully launch out C Leads Consulting. It's a boutique consulting firm, and I will put the link in the chat. But I am all about training and professional development, specifically, I want to say millennial development, but young adult development. Outside of diversity and inclusion, I'm talking about that training that people forget about, how to network, that 30-second speech that can change your life. If you have those in your organization who just graduated college and they're just starting, where's their professional development training? I graduated, now what? How to deal with yourself, because they don't offer these in schools as much as they should, and especially at the university level. Coaching the manager, how to manage your team, how to motivate your team, how to motivate millennials. We are a different breed. And how can millennials motivate others? So working in creating teams and developing teams in the workplace. I am your facilitator for a nominal fee. But I have done this. I've done this work internally with my work with the sheriff's office. I created summer camps. I created summer programs. I created after school programs. I've launched women's seminars, which I'm going to have one in March. I'm working on that date. It's my first one. It's like a breakout women's seminar on my own that I'm not hosting for anyone else but myself. So fingers crossed there. But yeah, I am program development. Tell me your plan. I can create strategic plans if you like. This is my degrees in organizational leadership. So I'm
Yeah,
actually
there's
ready to use my degrees.
there's lots to do, and I love the fact that you can create programs, like we said, for corporations, for small businesses, for medium-sized businesses, for government agencies, for schools, for colleges, universities. So people just have to reach out and reach out to you, hopefully through LinkedIn, since
Yes.
we promote a lot on LinkedIn, and find a way to not only work with you but also get your insights, and get with you they also get that community feeling, right? the
Yes,
the, the
for sure.
community voice. I don't want us to go without reminding everyone on ways to support God's gift. Remind
Okay.
everyone, please.
Ways to support, you can visit us online. You can feel free to donate to us online at www.godsgiftinc.org. That's an S, God's Gift, inc.org. You can also, we have a PayPal, we have a Zelle, we have all of it. But always visit us on social media, on all social media platforms. We are also even on LinkedIn. You can follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram at God's Gift Inc.
Beautiful, beautiful. Other than, and remind us about the upcoming events.
So I have a couple of upcoming events. For the girls during spring break, I am having a 2-day lead hership summit. It's actually one of my biggest events. And for that, Caroline, I usually have like almost 500 girls show up.
Wow.
So I'm not going to make it that big this year. I'm probably going to stop at 50. I want to be specific. I'm and we're going to be focusing on networking. It's going to be more career focused this year. Usually I have different breakout sessions. This one's going to be strictly career focused, and I am going to partner with the Urban League in their justice program to get some of those girls who have citations or violations who don't get this opportunity, with the mix of some of my girls and girls from the community through word of mouth, maybe 50 girls at the most, to do this 2-day leadership training. They're going to get professional headshots. The first day is going to be a t-shirt and jeans. The second day, they're going to be suited. So I asked them to reach out to Claire's, to get them some jewelry. I reached out to some of my sponsors, like, hey, I know you guys have some dress clothes. Let's do it. So that's going to be during spring break. The end of spring break, the beginning of spring break, hopefully we will be in Tallahassee, rallying on the steps to get some of these legislators to sign the bill for learning for dignity. And that Friday of spring break, that's a very busy week.
Yeah,
That
very
Friday
busy.
of spring break, it's Women's Appreciation Month, and I am going to be hosting with God's Gift, my organization. I am going to be hosting a Women's Appreciation Night. The girls are going to put it together. They have been assigned a woman that they're going to display and do display boards, and it's a night of networking with adults from the community, with these young ladies, to teach them networking. And two of the girls are artists. So their art will be for sale. So prayerfully, people buy their art. That's the whole point, to come by for some snacks. It's probably going to be like an hour and a half event at a location in Fort Lauderdale. So if you follow me on LinkedIn, you'll see it. Trust me.
I love it. And yeah, it's like you mentioned, it's all in Fort Lauderdale, but
Yeah.
obviously I know that you are also creating other initiatives in other towns, other
Yeah,
cities, and there's opportunity also to do something virtual as well. So
for sure.
plenty of opportunity here. I want people to reach out to you to support your initiatives, because in God's gift, because it's beautiful work, like we mentioned, that you continue to do. You've been doing it for a while now, and I do want to commend you. You are impressive on all fronts, but I love the fact that you are obviously preparing all of these not only for Black but also brown communities. You're
Yes.
very inclusive, and if anyone, any girls or families are interested in being part of your leadership training, they can reach out to you as
Yes,
well,
for
and
sure.
have the girls join you, right?
Yeah. So, and I don't want people to get the impression that it's just like Black girls. It's just that they identify with me. I don't nowhere near say I accept Black girls only. It's only they just come to me. I guess I'm the role model. I guess I don't know, but it's open. Like I said, we have girls from ChildNet. I just had a huge event in October, and it was girls who did not look like me at all. So a lot of my events, they're open. I don't care about your background. I don't care if it's a mom, dad, two moms, two dad. I don't care. That's not what that's for. It's for just this one big safe space. We don't go into your financial status. That's not my business unless you're going to fund something. But it's not my business. And a lot of these girls come from single families, or they don't have a mom or dad, hence they're in child net. So, or other social services. We don't care about that. We are all about having a safe space. So
beautiful, beautiful. No, thank you so much for sharing
no
your time with
problem.
us and your story and the beauty that you're creating. Again, I want to commend you for that, and I want to invite everyone to join you to learn more about you, to learn more about what you're creating, and support you
Yeah,
financially. Let's do that.
let's
Let's
do
bring
it.
the girls to Tallahassee.
Get these girls to Tallahassee and make Broward proud. Well, let me say it like this: South Florida, just in case your business is
Yes.
in Broward. South Florida. Let's make South Florida proud.
Love it, love it. Thank you, Dr. Ciara. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Another episode of Hablemos. Bye bye.